Hello, African Confessions. I am back with another episode. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message comes from a translation. The message reads like this. Hello, how are you? There is something that my grandmother always do, and she always do strange things whenever we pass through a place where there is a graveyard. Right now, I am a 19-year-old girl. I am staying with my grandmother. My parents are abroad. My parents are in Ireland, and I was left under the care of my grandmother here in Zim. We stay at our house, hired a maid who only works for 2 times a week. We have a gardener and we have a maid. That maid, she doesn't stay with us all of the times. She just come to wash some clothes and to cook for grandma here and there. But most of the times I am at home with grandma, or sometimes we will be at home with some of our relatives, because my father and my mother, who are in Ireland, they are the ones who take care of the rest of the family. So whenever they send money, most of my relatives, they travel from the village so that they can come to the capital city and buy some cheap stuff, and they will go back to the rural areas. Most of the times they will be people that are staying with me and my grandma. But one thing that I have noticed about my grandmother is someone who sometimes acts as if she really has a good heart. Sometimes she acts as if she doesn't have a good heart. There are times when I just go somewhere with my friends, and when I come back, I'll be so happy, so much happy that I would want to share the details with my grandmother. There are times when I come back home and I'll find out that my grandmother will be in a bad mood, and I see that grandmother is in a bad mood. Sometimes I don't speak with her, I just remain quiet. There is another thing that my grandmother does, is that she doesn't eat with other people. Even when our relatives are here, she always takes her food to her bedroom. Then she will eat in her bedroom. I don't even understand. But my mom, she told me that grandma has always been like this, and we don't even bother to ask her why she does all of these things. It doesn't matter if it is breakfast or what. If our maid will be at work on that day, she will tell the maid to go and put her food not in the bedroom, because we are not allowed to enter into her bedroom. The only person who can enter into our grandma's bedroom, it is my mother. Whenever she is here in Zim, that is when I see someone entering into grandmother's bedroom, and when they go into her bedroom, sometimes they can spend more than an hour. I don't know what they will be doing inside her bedroom, but what I have noticed, me and my other cousin brothers and sister, is that we all have the same dreams. Like, we do speak on WhatsApp, and we have noticed that we keep on having the same dream. Sometimes I can have a dream and I'll be walking in a scary forest, but I'll be walking with my grandmother. And if I have that dream today, maybe after 2 or 3 days, one of my cousin brother, I have these other cousin brothers of mine, they are in the USA. I don't understand how we can share the same dream. And those cousin brothers of mine, they have never been to Africa because they were born in USA. My mother's sister, she migrated to USA a long time ago before she had kids, and she had her kids there in the USA. They don't even know what Africa looks like. But one of my cousin brothers, who is in the United States of America, whenever he tells me all of the dreams that he has, he will be describing everything like he has been to our village, but he doesn't even know what Africa looks like. So if I have this dream like today, then after 2 or 3 days, one of my cousin sisters or brother, they will tell me that they had a dream and they were walking in the forest with grandma. But in that forest that they will be walking with grandma, there will be a lot of creatures. We can only hear the sounds of those creatures, but I have never seen any of those creatures. I really love my grandma because she is like a mom to me. When my mother and my father migrated to Ireland, I was left with grandma and I see her as my own mother. But these things that keep on happening in our house, I am trying to understand so that I won't accuse her of wrongdoing. Maybe there are some people who just hate my grandma, who wants us to think that our grandmother is evil. So we stay near a graveyard, and this graveyard, there is a road which leads to the marketplace where we buy vegetables and some food stuff. So mostly my grandma want us to go to that market at around 6 p.m. I really hate this. My grandmother, she has a car, but Brother Nashi, she doesn't want anyone to drive that car. I don't even know why my parents had to send that car from Ireland to grandmother, because she doesn't use it at all. Most of the times when we go to the market, especially at around 6 p.m., I do try to ask grandma, and I will tell her that it is already late. Why don't you just drive us to the market? But she will not respond to you, or if she responds to your question, she will just insult you. She will just say, let us go right now. And if she says, let us go, and if you remain seated on the couch, she can actually hit you with something. I know my grandma, whenever she wants us to go at the market, it doesn't matter what time it is, I will just go with her. And her reasoning is that at around 6 p.m. after the sun has gone down, it will not be so busy like in the afternoon. And she will say, let us go to the market. So sometimes I'll ask her to use the main road because I don't like to take the shortcut. There is this other shortcut that goes through the graveyard. It is a quick shortcut for you to get to the market. If you use that shortcut that goes through the graveyard, within 5 minutes you will be at the market. But I don't want to go through the graveyard because it is really scary to look at all of those graves, and it will be in the evening. But whenever I try to tell grandma for us to use the main road, she will say that if we use the main road, by the time that we get to the market and by the time when we will be coming back, it will be too dark. Do you want us to pass through the graveyard when it will be dark? So I will just say, let us pass through the graveyard. But when we are walking through the graveyard, there are things that my grandma does. She always counts these graves, and whenever she counts this grave, she doesn't want you to disturb her. If you try to disturb her, she will then insult you. My brother, these things has been happening for a very long time. I've never told any of my cousins that this is what my grandma does, but it really scares the hell out of me. I've been thinking of running away from home, but I am scared that if I run away from home, my parents will be angry at me. Because as for now, I am furthering my education at this other local college. After doing that, that is when I'll be able to go and join my parents in the UK. Please, my brother, can you post my story? Is it normal for someone to count the graves when they are walking in a graveyard? If my grandma sees that in that graveyard there is a new grave, sometimes she will just stay at that grave. There was this other time, me and my grandmother, we had to pass through that graveyard. It was during the day, and then my grandmother noticed that close to the road there was a new grave. My grandma stopped, and I asked her, why are you stopping, grandma? Like, I am always afraid whenever we are passing through that graveyard. So I wanted us to get out of that graveyard as quickly as possible. But she just froze as she was looking at that new grave. That is when she said, I just wanted to see when this person was born and when did he die, and I just wanted to know his name. My brother, is this normal, or am I just overthinking things? Dear listeners, right there was a message that I received, and I had to ask one of our admins to give us a translation. But this is not normal. I've never heard of anyone who goes through the graveyard, and when they are in the graveyard, they'll be counting the graves. Strange things do happen. Please let us talk about this issue in the comment section.